everyone to History Happy Hour honoring Hispanic Idaho or business leaders in Idaho. My name is Allison Espandola. I'm the Events and Rentals Coordinator here at the Idaho State Museum. The Idaho State Historical Society, which includes the Idaho State Museum, the State Historic Preservation Office, the Idaho State Archives, the Old Penitentiary, and historic sites, is dedicated to preserving and promoting Idaho history through programming like tonight and through on-site visits. We offer dynamic and engaging programming that serve Idahoans across the state, and we've been doing so for over 140 years now, and look forward to many more years to come. I do want to take a second to thank the members that are joining us tonight, the Idaho State Historical Society members. Thank you for this, really supporting the work that we're able to do for all across Idaho. If you are interested and want to know more information about becoming a member, please visit our website at history.idaho.gov. Now, tonight, we are kicking off a few days early Hispanic Heritage Month. National Hispanic Heritage Month is celebrated every year from September 15th through October 15th to honor the history, contributions, and culture of Hispanic Americans. Idahoans of Hispanic descent greatly impact our community. Business leaders in a variety of fields have brought and continue to bring their experience, culture, and passion to Idaho. During this History Happy Hour, we want to kick off Hispanic Heritage Month by recognizing some of the resources available to these leaders and the people dedicated to supporting them. Before we do this and jump into that conversation, though, with our panelists, I do want to ask our audience who's joining us tonight what you are drinking this evening. I'm drinking some water out of a fabulous History Happy Hour cup, but open up that chat bar at the bottom of your screen and share with me and the other panelists tonight what you are enjoying this evening. This chat, where you're typing your answers in, this is where you will be able to ask your questions to the panelists and share your information. At the end of our panel discussion, I'll read your questions to the panelists for their answers. I'm going to try my best to get them all answered while we're here together tonight. Ooh, tea. That sounds delicious. And thank you for those of you that are chatting in there. Sorry, I got distracted by that. Sounds really yummy. But let's go ahead and get right into it. I do want to introduce our panelists who are joining us tonight. Brian Cosio. Brian is the Hispanic Outreach Coordinator for Mofi, a nonprofit serving Idaho and the Western Rockies. He enjoys biking, traveling, gardening, cooking, and spending time with close friends and family. And Josue Ruiz, the Marketing Director at El Centro. Josue has been in the marketing business and serving his community for several years. He has recently entered his position at El Centro, proudly serving the Hispanic community in insurance, bookkeeping, real estate, and more. So thank you both for being here tonight. I appreciate you joining us and being here in this conversation. Oh, another person's drinking tea tonight. I love it. This is a good crowd. Thank you. But Brian, I want to ask you, when you got into working with Mofi and really being this Hispanic coordinator, what was it? Why is it important to you to work with Hispanic business leaders in Idaho?
Really, thank you so much for having me here. I'm so happy, so stoked. But to answer your question about why this work mattered to me, I am first generation Hispanic. My parents were undocumented for a majority of my life. I saw really they put their dreams on hold for my brother and myself. So being able to come from a place of privilege, having a college education, being able to speak English, being able to really navigate the world with ease gave me a really a privileged place to be able to give back. So so working with Mofi, being the Hispanic Outreach Coordinator, really allows me to leverage my skills for people who may otherwise not be able to, not because they don't have the intelligence. I still think, right, my parents are the most intelligent people I know and the wisest people I know, but the intelligence I have and the privilege I have is able to really augment those skills and really help them and help other people. So I'm here because I get to give back to the people who gave to me.
Thank you. That's a very personal story. I appreciate you sharing that with us. And Josue, what about you? What prompted you? What inspired you to really support Hispanic business leaders?
For me, I'm actually not first generation. I am from Mexico. I was born there. And so I think it's important that, and also thank you for having me today. I'm very thankful for that. And what inspired me was just us working together is more helpful, because the more we work together, the more we help our people too. And so I think it's important to work with other business leaders so we can like keep moving forward, and just creating new things, being more just moving forward. Because I think inside we all have that American dream, and so like it's inside all of us. And so just working together to get there is just wonderful. It's wonderful to see success stories, and so that's what inspired me to want to work together. We're more leaders, because if we all work together, we can get to places a lot quicker than, just doing it on our own. We can never do stuff on our own. We always need someone. So that's what inspired me to, want to work with business leaders that are, Hispanic, and just, getting our people where they need to be, and being happy.
Thank you. It sounds like working together and that collaboration on a dream is an important trait. But what are some of the other things that you find that's important to making a successful business leader?
That's a good question. You want to go first, Brian?
Yeah, totally. I'm going to use my parents as an example. I'm going to use this example a lot tonight. But my parents, they like to say one thing. My mom says, especially, said, "Descansa haciendo adobes." You rest by making bricks. I used to think like, oh, I'm going to be making bricks. I'm going to be working all the time. That's not what that means. It really comes down to persistence, right? When clients come to Mofi, they are unbankable, not because the bank isn't able to fund them, but because, not because the bank doesn't want to fund them, but because they're unable to. So clients come with us with persistence, right? If they don't seek, if they don't find an opportunity in one place, they're willing to find it somewhere else. Or if one thing doesn't work, they're willing to find a different kind of solution. So that persistence to keep trying different things, to keep making other connections, to keep talking to other people, I think is such one of those skills that really is just necessary to be successful, especially in a world where coming from another country, coming from another culture, you're having to learn a whole new system of doing things. So that persistence in letting your experience be heard, letting your voice be heard is such a valuable thing, because our identity matters, and that's a core part of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have to agree with that. And then also, I think being persistent and just like, I think what helps a good trait is being genuine. It goes a long way, like wanting to just do business or work together, and thankfulness as well is a good trait to have. And just being, kindness goes a long way. From my parents, I always was taught to bring a gift every time you go to someone's house. And I keep that with me, like, always bring a gift, always, we're really trying to help someone, because our people can see through, you not really wanting to help them, they really can't see that. And so you just being a good trait is like being always, kindness goes a long way, and genuineness goes a long way. And that's a good trait to have to be successful and roll with this community. And it's very simple, very practical, but it works. It goes a long way.
I think that's such a great point. One of the people I work with, put it so well. He's like, well, I know how to do is I know how to make tacos, and he knows how to make tacos so well. So he went on to say, like, I know how to do this. I surround myself with other people who know how to do other things. So that kindness, that authenticity, that same stuff you're talking about, creating that strong network of people to support you is going to be so fantastic, because we know what we're good at. And now again, going back to leveraging those other intelligence, those other experiences is so important in this.
That's good.
I love that. And Brian, you touched a little bit on Mofi and what you do there and a little bit of what they do, the company. Ariella was asking from the audience, what is Mofi? Can you give a little background? And then Josue, do you want to give a little background on El Centro as well?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, so Mofi, we're a nonprofit and we are here in Boise, but we have some offices as well in Missoula, Montana, and Bozeman. So if you're ever downtown Boise, come say hello. We'd love to meet you. But what we do is we work with small businesses, startups that aren't able to get a loan from a bank, not because a bank doesn't want to help them, but because a bank has certain regulations they can't budge on. So we get people who have no credit history, that don't have a social security number, that have a business that just carries a lot of risk with it, like restaurants or brand new startups are just risky businesses to start off right at the beginning. So they come to us unbankable. What we do is we provide financing to them. And on top of that, we also provide business consulting services at free of cost. So then by the time they're done working with us, they are completely bankable. So they're able to establish a relationship with the banker and they're able to join that financial mainstream. So we really bring businesses that weren't super strong or weren't as strong as they could be yet, and we make them really strong. And we make them part of this really strong community of businesses.
Nice, very cool. Actually, yeah, me and Brian connected over that. So we met at one of the Hispanic Chambers meeting, but what El Centro does is we actually do, like I mentioned in my bio, we do a lot of things. So one of the biggest things is taxes, business, bookkeeping. So bookkeeping, sorry, I have to remember them in English. That's why I'm kind of slow because I remember them in Spanish. So it's real estate, bookkeeping. We even do translations. If someone comes in with a document they need to be translated, we can translate that for them. And we do like a lot of insurance, like home, auto, and then we insure everything. The only thing we don't do right now is life insurance. That's the only insurance we can do. But other than that, we insure businesses. And so, we do all that. We've been there for 20 years. And so it's been really helpful because we get to see businesses grow as we do their bookkeeping. They come in and they have this idea because we also do registration. So we register their business. So they come in and they're very, sometimes they don't know how to go about it. The Hispanics are a little bit different because they have to work with ITINs, like Brian said. Sometimes it's not that they don't have the money, it's just they don't have the right documentation or the right stuff to do a loan. So then we help them out, we help them build a business the right way. And then it's good. It's really nice to see them grow. And then basically I would have to say El Centro is a place where we help with just educating them about stuff they're supposed to have, like insurance. Like sometimes they don't know they can have insurance without a license because, like I said, some of us were not educated, but that's a little bit about El Centro. So
thank you. That's perfect. You guys do a ton.
Yeah, we do a lot.
Yeah, resources.
And then they just call us with random questions, and we're like, "Oh yeah, that's for the consulate, like because it's a Mexican consulate." So I'll be like, "Oh, sorry, we don't do that here, but we can take you to the consulate." And they're like, "Oh, okay." So they're comfortable. They ask us anything, and it's very awesome.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like you're both in a role where you're a great resource for the community to be able to come and pose questions and know that even if you don't have the answer, you're going to support them and guide them into getting answers or where they can go to talk and find support in other areas you may not be directly impacting.
Totally. And we're even resources for each other. Like if there's something when we're doing business consultation that we can't necessarily provide best, we want to create that network. So we'll refer out to El Centro if that ever happens, right? We help just each other as much as we help other businesses.
That's awesome. Now, before we go on for a little bit more questions for our panelists tonight out there for you in the audience, I do want to take a quick pause and remind you any other questions that you have for our panelists, keep typing them in the chat if you've already done it. If you're still holding on to your question, put it in there now for them. At the end, like I said, I'll make sure to try and get as many answered as possible. But I do want to put up a quick poll for those of you out there. Let me launch that real fast for just a second. One of the things that's really important to us here at the Idaho State Museum is that we are offering programming and bringing in fabulous panelists like tonight that really support your interests and what you want to learn more about. So feel free to take that poll that popped up on your screen. If you don't see the poll or you don't see an answer that you like on the poll, feel free to type that into the chat as well. And you can vote for more than one thing. So feel free to pick what options you are interested in. I'm going to leave it up for just a couple more seconds there. Thank you. Looks like, local authors, artists, and musicians are taking the lead here for tonight. I love it. Oh, cultural holiday traditions is tying now. Sorry, it's like a little game. All right, well, I'm gonna shut down this poll in just a second. So if you haven't answered, go ahead and toss an answer in there real fast. Or again, if you have a topic you're interested in, type it into that question or into the chat bar. But hopping back with our panelists, when you are both, Brian and Josue, looking into the future, is there anything that you hope for businesses, specifically Hispanic businesses in Idaho? And Josue, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah. So I think we've been at El Centro, we've been there 20 years, as the slide says. Like, why are we there 20 years? You can actually see this picture is actually one of my pictures that I took. We're actually going out there to the community and we take them gifts. Like we take them saying hi, hey, how are you? Like I said, that thankfulness and genuineness. So we're out there like talking to them and getting to know them. And we've been there 20 years. Here's this first slide. It's like, gracias a nuestros clientes, because of them, we're here. Like we're here because of them. We're here because they bring us business. Like without them, we wouldn't be there. So first of all, we thank them and our clients. So we go out to visits. And then our second one is, we've been there 20 years, is all our agents have 20 years of experience. So at Centro, we make sure everyone's trained, everyone can make a connection. Anyone can, let's say someone, because Hispanic people love a connection. So they go to the people they know. But since we have a connection with everyone, they're able to come with anyone and they'll answer any question. They'll feel comfortable with me. They'll feel comfortable with, anyone else. And the third one is we really, really get to know our community. We're really there for them. Like that's me on there so we gave them 2 shirts. And so I asked them to take a picture with me. So we're really out there with our community. So that would be my advice. If you want to be there for 20 years or so, you really have to put in the work, which is basically like being thankful and showing genuineness. And that will get you far. Like it's very, very basic, but it's very, very key that it's done correctly. And so that would be my advice. If you want to be a leader in the community, that they see you, that they're comfortable. Sometimes they'll feel shy. Like you have to sometimes they're very shy. And I get sad when let's say someone brings a gift and they really give it to you genuinely. And they bring you tamales. And they bring it to you and you're like, oh, thanks. And I see the person doesn't like it. I get so sad because they really some Hispanic people are very, very shy because they're already in a world they don't know. So I get sad when people don't genuinely are thankful. But when you're thankful, they'll come back. They'll tell everyone about you. They'll all that stuff you per se invested in will come not that it pays off, but it comes back. It rewards you. People know your business and when they feel comfortable, then that makes you last longer. Because I don't know how it's called. There's a phrase that says one negative person tells 20 people the negative review, but one good experience they tell 5 people. So if you just keep being kind and obviously your products have to be good, but at El Centro we don't offer any it's not how would I say it, they can go somewhere else and get about the same, right? But my point is that the reason why they come to El Centro and they keep coming back is because we're kind and we serve them. Like, we are serving our community, like we are making their life easier. So that would be my advice to any Hispanic leaders that want to have their business keep growing. Just those two factors, kindness and genuineness, it goes a long way.
Brian, what about for you? Is there anything that you hope for businesses, Hispanic businesses in Idaho for the future?
Totally. I think, there are a couple big things that I'm really, really excited about. First, I'm super excited to see more young people, right? We see a lot of young people who are eager to come up with these ideas and launch these new products. And with the way technology is really kind of going in a lot of different directions, it's easy to set up, a lot easier. I guess I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier than it has been to start up a business. And it's easier to leverage really these social media and this technology. So I'm excited to see more young people begin to kind of launch their dreams and see a really strong group of young Latino business owners. The other thing I'm super excited about is I really want to see, there are thousands of strong, aspiring business owners here, but they're not always given the most prominent spots. They're not always given a seat at the table with really like their white counterparts when it comes to businesses. So I would really be hopeful to see a really strong network of Hispanic business owners come up and really, not make their own table and set up their own things and really start to make those changes for Idaho business owners and start creating their own opportunities. They're able to do it and they can, and now they're excited to do this. And I think that's something that we're going to see in the future. And I'm so stoked for it.
I love that. I can see why that would be very exciting, because it's a beautiful future that you're, especially both of you, really envision and can see. And I think that is very transparent in your work and in what you're sharing tonight. Before we wrap up the panel discussion and move into that audience Q&A though, what advice would you like to give aspiring business owners, especially for aspiring Hispanic business leaders in Idaho? And I know you shared a little bit on that, but is there anything that you want to add that you want to make sure they hear tonight? Brian, you want to start off that conversation?
Absolutely. The resources are out there. You are never alone in doing anything. And it's always right. There are people out there who are excited to help you. There are resources like the Women's Business Center or the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce or Mofi or El Centro, right? There's dozens of resources out there. Seek them out, be persistent, be patient if you're not able to see them right away, but you have a great idea. You know how to run your business better than anybody else. Now just push to find those resources and take advantage of them, because they are excited, just excited as I am to really see those business flourish. So ask for help, ask around, be persistent. You will get those answers you're looking for.
That's good. I like that. And for me, going off of what Brian said in that same vein, persistent, like you're not alone. Like I think even for me as a first, or I'm from Mexico, we get scared. Like we get like, I don't know if you guys ever heard like what they call imposter syndrome. And so we feel like we're not, like our parents never had professional jobs. So we feel like we're not qualified to be where we're at or where we need to be. And so when we're starting our business, we're like, oh man, I don't know what I'm doing. Like people can see right through me. Like, I don't like professional, like, you start getting all these things and then like, oh, I should just go back to being like a worker, like, or, doing something else but persistent, keep going, keep trying it. If something doesn't work, ask for help. And, sometimes you have to borrow, like, don't be scared to, like have someone, tell you how they did their thing. Like, hey, how did you do this? Or, hey, how to do that? Or what system do you use? Or, like, hey, can you show me this? Because again, like working together is going to get you far. I know sometimes as Hispanics, we can be shy to ask for help. But yeah, I mean, you can always reach out to me. I'm happy to help because I generally want to see people succeed because then we move. It's kind of like technology. Like if someone makes something, the first one's going to be super expensive, right? The first product's going to be super expensive, but once everyone finds out how to make it, then it gets less expensive, less expensive, less expensive. And that's how business is. Like sometimes we're gonna be we're gonna like not be where we want to be, but then if we ask for help, we'll get there.
Thank you. That's amazing. Now we're going to move into the audience question portion. So thank you for continuing to put those questions in the chat. I know we're getting close on time, so we're going to squeeze some questions in here. One of the questions that came in is about that sense of community. Brian, you talked a little bit about this. How would somebody find the Hispanic businesses in Idaho? How would they be able to connect with people? Is it through the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, or is there other resources available to kind of find these types of businesses so that they can support them?
Totally. Especially amongst Hispanic business owners, right? Word of mouth is huge. So asking, right, get to know a really successful business and ask them, who did you turn to and what kind of people did you talk to, and leverage the experience that somebody else has. I, especially like in my work at Mofi, it's a lot of just starting from the very top, going to the Chamber of Commerce, not even Hispanic one, and just asking around, and you'll always find out somebody knows somebody knows somebody. So going back to what I was saying, right, that persistence of asking and putting your name out there, and almost being a little bit annoying, but right, you almost have to be a little bit annoying, but it'll get you places. But I would absolutely say if you're seeking out either more businesses or resources, just ask around and ask the businesses that you want to model yourself after, and let them point you in that direction that they went in.
Yeah, I would say the same, like just finding people who are in your same circle in a way that kind of do the same business, or that will be the next step to your business. Like for me, once there's a business client comes in, now I have to search for someone who is going to get them further than I can, whether it's Mofi through a loan, because I'm not a financial institute, like I'm not going to do loans. So just finding that person who is your next step as well, or even like, yeah, just having someone who has been there before and does the same, like marketing directors are really good to reach out to because they're actually in the community. Like search anyone with a title, community coordinator, community something, and they'll be able to reach out to you and help you out. Sometimes it is a little scary. Because like for me, I get the question because you don't want to overstep anything, you know what I mean? Because you don't want to and I get that. I like Brian because he's persistent, but for me, it's a little different, I might be like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to think I'm weird, but I find, anybody with a marketing director or like a community director, or just, go to all those networking events. I know sometimes it's hard, but you have to network and get together on some community events. Community events are great. Everybody wants to help the community, everyone, so just meeting people there, like doing community events, that works very well as well.
If someone were interested in kind of connecting with the businesses that you both are assisting and helping, would they be able to reach out to you to kind of find out who some of these business leaders and owners are? Or is there a resource that we could direct them to learn more about these resources?
I mean, always come say hello to us at Mofi. Like we're happy to help you and point you in those directions. We're always happy to do that. Otherwise, really just Google, right? Google like starting a business Idaho or things like that. But I'm a huge proponent of that human connection. So come say hello to Josue at El Centro, or come say hi to me at Mofi downtown, right? Like we want to help you. We're excited to help you.
Yeah, and we'll help you get connections and do like that, stuff like that, like Brian was saying. come say hi to us. You can always reach out to me. Right now, I wouldn't say there's a resource. You have to go, there's still not a solid thing you can go to, like a web page or something like that. But it's all about connections. Like I said, the best way is just to stay, connected, or go to community events and build that trust slowly. Because if you just go right off the bat, they're going to be like, oh man, this guy's just, this guy's just trying to sell stuff, But once we get to know you and understand, okay, that's what you do. Because we also, for me, it was cool because when I met Brian, we went out to coffee, and basically what we do there is if I were to send someone to him, would he treat them the same as I would, is the thing. So that's the only thing. That's why we have to make a connection first. And then, once we get to know them, like, oh yeah, they're pretty good. Like if I were to leave one of my clients with Brian, would he be okay? And they'll be like, yeah, they're comfortable. They're comfortable, or even speaking the same language. Like, is the person that I leave you with, or that I take you to, are they going to speak Spanish, or are they going to need a translator? That's a big part of it too. But we don't have, I wouldn't have a list, but I could get, if you meet the people, they can get you where they need to be, or where you need to go.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and our audience. Thank you for Brian and for Josue for joining us from Mofi and El Centro. The Idaho State Museum is committed to providing opportunities like this to share with you, our visitor, while at home or at one of our sites. One way that we do that is by finding out more about you and what you are interested in. So just like the poll you took tonight, but a little bit more, there's a link in that chat for you to share a little bit more about yourself and what your interests are. Now, if you missed that link tonight, don't worry, you're going to get an email tomorrow with a link to that, as well as links to learn more about Mofi, El Centro, how to become a member, all of that good stuff. So keep an eye out for that email. For up-to-date information, such as about upcoming events like our next History Happy Hour, that's going to be on October 13th, and it'll be about Dia de los Muertos, how to become a member, to sign up for our newsletter, please visit our website at history.idaho.gov, or stay up to date on our social media pages. We hope to see you at one of our sites soon. Thanks so much. Bye.